social media really effed up our perspective. So how do I mean that? Well, I mean that in several different ways. But one way that I mean this is in terms of impact. So I do YouTube as well and creative stuff. And so there is a part where you're like, okay, I want to have a big impact on a lot of people, right? Because that's just sort of a thing. Now, I don't know if you have this, if I have this, if this is a normal human emotion, or if this is not a normal human emotion, but I do feel like I have some sort of existential debt, right? Like you exist and you sort of have a debt to existence itself to do something, right? I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something there. Like I said, I don't know if this is a common human emotion. You can feel free to leave a comment if you feel this as well. But I think that with this existential debt, people sometimes think, oh, I have to, pay off this debt. And social media has us effed up in our perspective, because when we get 100 views on a video, that's a failure of a video. And like, yes, in terms of the number, it might be, but maybe not in terms of the impact. Because you got to remember, if you had 100 people that listened to a lecture of yours, or like a presentation of yours, that'd be a lot of people. Like that would be a lot of people like standing or sitting in front of you. So if you think about it like that, all of a sudden 100 doesn't seem that small of a number. But the issue is that social media has us compare with frickin' Mr. Beast. Yeah, it's not 50 million. You're absolutely right. But also 50 million is, I don't even know. Like that's crazy. This is a number that you can't even fathom, right? So I don't know. And that's one of the ways, let's say, with this sort of existential debt where social media has us effed up a little bit. I think that you can also, I think if you help one person, your debt is paid. I think if you genuinely have helped one person with a big issue, I think your debt is already paid. And I think if you help two people, I think you're already in the positive. I think at that point, your existence has what would you say? It has self-evidently made itself valuable, let's say. Or yeah, there's a reason for it. It has self-justified itself. Yeah, it has justified itself by the act of helping. And I don't think that it's necessarily going to be everyone that feels that way. And I also don't think that it's important to necessarily impose this view of the world onto others. If you don't feel that way, that's totally fine. But if you do feel that way, then you need some way of alleviating it. This somehow goes back to the message of the previous yap again, which is really funny, where I said not every message is meant for you, right? It's really easy to think about everything. You look at it from your perspective and you're like, I don't have this problem, so obviously no one else has this problem. That's not how that works at all, right? It's we're easy to discount the perspective of others, which I think is I think that's not a good, it's not a good way to go about to live in the world. But yeah, social media has our perspective effed up. In what other ways? Well, obviously the sort of, at this point, almost a cliche in social media, even though it's not been around for that long, you see the highlight reel of other people's lives and you only see you see all of your life. And I mean, it couldn't be truer that that's the case. And I don't know what the answer to it is, because on the one hand, social media did really only amplify what is already there, right? It didn't just like create all of this like negativity and issues and stuff out of nothing. But there is also a point where it's like it has amplified to a degree which is very unhealthy, specifically with like children and teens. I don't know. I mean, I'm usually really like I'm a tech guy, right? I study computer science. I am on my computer a very long time every day. So I really like tech. I find it interesting, both in terms of the application, but also just in general, right? I just in general find it interesting. But at that time still, I really think that both phones as well as social media, I think they should be completely banned for kids and teens even. Now, some might say that's crazy. I'm like, well, all right. I'm gonna be real. If I had a child right now, I would rather have my child smoke than go on social media. Okay? And if you think that's a ridiculous statement, then you don't know how fucked up social media is. Okay? That's the thing. That's the point, right? And I think nowadays, if you saw I don't know, a 7-year-old smoke, I don't know what you would personally do, but I mean, you would definitely tell someone or something, right? You'd be like, you cannot smoke. That's not okay. Like, that's not a thing that you are allowed to do, because we've decided as a society that smoking is meant for adults. And I think a similar thing will hopefully happen with phones/social media. It might not be 18, it might be, I don't even know, 16 or 14, where we sort of draw the line, but we have to draw the line somewhere, because especially giving like the iPad kids, I mean, my God, what an absolutely horrendous thing to do. Specifically also, I mean, it makes sense, because the parents are addicted to the phone, so you're like, okay, and then you give the iPad to the kids, because they also know that you're looking at this like strange device, and then you give the iPad to the kids, and then they're, I mean, happy. But my God, does this F them up? I just don't. We're gonna see a reckoning in like a couple of years. I really hope that they somehow are gonna be able to like get out of this. Or let's just say that a lot more people are gonna have to study psychology and go and become therapists, because we might need more of those in the near future. I don't know. It's just like I am unbelievably happy that even though I was sort of I played a lot of PlayStation back in the day, and I was a lot on my basically on my console and the TV, and then later on the PC. I was there a lot. I didn't have the phone back in my day when I was a child, and you know what? That is amazing. Amazing. Because with that, I don't even know. Like, I could not even imagine, because there's so many different social issues that come with that. But I think that we will be able to somehow navigate through this, as we have with everything. And it's going to be something like, half of kids are going to have phones and the other half won't. And then it's not going to be an issue, because if one half doesn't, yes, if like one kid in an entire class doesn't have a phone or social media, then yeah, obviously that kid's going to be ostracized. But if half of them don't have it, they're just going to be friends with each other. And then the other ones that have it are going to be friends with each other. And there might be some rivalry, but I think that's preferred versus like everyone has it, and then just it's going to be crazy. I don't know. But yeah, that's another way social media has sort of effed us up. Especially the kids, especially the young adults, teens, young adults. It's actually insane. It's crazy. Completely warped their perspective on a lot of stuff, I think. And I think even adults can fall for it, because you get into sort of a confirmation bias, right? You think that, I don't know, you see what is the best, what is an example? Like, you see people, dining out, and they're like all the luxury stuff, and you're like, oh, this is just normal. This is just real life. That's not real life. And I mean, I don't even know if you'd want it necessarily. Maybe you do. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm pretty lucky in that I was never really interested in like luxury things. Luxury was never. It's never a I don't know, 7-course meal, 10-course meal, things like that, right? Like luxury stuff, quote unquote. Never really appealed to me personally. That's why I think I'm not immune, but like specifically that part, right? I'm not that bothered by, let's say. But of course, other stuff, absolutely, right? Body image and stuff like that. It's rough. It's rough. Yeah, but that's one thing. Just some thoughts about social media and how it's effing up our perspective. So that's gonna be it for this yap over here. Hope you found this interesting, and talk to you next time.